Welcome to Castoshi podcast. I'm Zubair, your host, and today we have Sam Kamani from Ensydr. Have I said that correct?
Insider, yes, yes,
Ensydr.
inside,
Oh, I got it
yes,
wrong. Sorry. You know
yes,
why?
yeah,
Because
no worries, yes,
in
yeah,
Danish, at the end, Insider. It sounds a bit okay. Fine. Yeah. So,
yes.
could you tell us first just a little bit about the big picture about what Insider does?
Yes, sure. So, how the concept came about? We are still in extremely early stages. It started as a side project. I used to work for an esports startup where we made software to run tournaments for games like PUBG, League of Legends, and all sorts of like Call of Duty, Halo, all sorts of online games. We made this software, and so after that startup got acquired and everything, and then me and one of my friend who's the CTO of it, we were thinking that how people on the internet have views, have opinions about what the price of Bitcoin should be, or what price of Ethereum or Tesla or GameStop or any of the stocks or cryptos, currencies or tokens should be. Then it's like, why not let people compete against each other and see who gets it right? So that's how it started. But what it has morphed into is, over time, now that we are realizing, what we are really looking into is that we made the algorithm learn from people's predictions, and what we want to do is we want to encapsulate that and also learn from internet.
Could I pause
Use
you for 1 second there? Because I've tried your
Yes,
website, and could you spell it so that people listening know how to find it?
yes, sure. It's ENSYDR, Insider.
.com.
Yes, .com.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
So
ENSYDR.com for everyone.
yes,
Please,
yes.
okay. Yeah, I actually tried it out before, by the way, and I tried the Bitcoin. I tried predicting the Bitcoin stuff, and I saw your leaderboard, and I saw
Oh,
you
cool,
had
cool.
different things
Yes.
as well. And I was like, this is a good idea. And I'd seen some prediction market stuff in the past, but your thing just
Yes.
seemed very clean and simple to use. Anyway, sorry,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
interrupted.
we
Sorry,
that's
continue.
no, no, that's very true. That's We wanted to remove barriers for entry. We didn't want to, so there is no way for anyone to lose money or win money or anything. This is for learning only, to give your hands try. So even for someone who has never interacted in any markets anywhere, they can start playing with it, start learning, seeing how they are getting things right or how they're getting things wrong in a safe environment, without making it like Robin Hood, where people are losing real money. And so that was the sort of the key value proposition. But at on the other side, we wanted the algorithm to keep developing, keep learning. And so we are going to, in over the next month or so, we are going to release an updated version of it. So that's why we have taken sort of a break. It's still in beta, the platform, is because we want to release our algorithms predictions at the same time, based on learning from what people are predicting on the internet. And so it is something a bit more usable, because I have the same question, like, all the time, like, what should I buy? What should I, where is the most value? Which is the most sort of underrated asset I should be looking at? And one way is, technical analysis. The another way is fundamental analysis. And the third way is looking at what other people are doing and what other people are saying on the internet, gathering data from what our people are predicting on our platform.
Are
And
you talking
based
about looking at trends? Like, so if you see trends which are getting bigger that you see as valuable, to get in early on those. Yeah.
Yes, so not only trends, but also what is really happening. So it is kind of a mix of all different sorts of parameters, technical, fundamentals, and the trends, and the chatter online. And then based on that, develop our algorithm to show what is really happening, give an inside view of what is really happening. So this is our sort of the next test that we are going to do, because in our project. So yeah, so that's where we are at. Yeah.
Okay. And I mean, it's interesting because I read a book a few years ago about. I mean, because as a person, everyone's kind of dream to get freedom is to have a magical money machine just sitting in the background printing money, you know, like while we sleep. And I
Yes.
read this book about a computer that uses AI, and it basically starts to suck all the money out of the system because it's so good at predicting that it takes all of the profit out of the whole market. And I'm not sure, I can't remember what happens if it tries to take over the world or something.
Yeah, so we want to do this as an educational tool. We don't want to create it into a fund or connect it to the live markets where we can we want to see how well we can make this algorithm, and then the learnings from it can be shared in form of some sort of a class or decoded. But the thing is that there's always been algorithms, and pretty much nearly every fund, everyone who does active investing or trading, they use some form of AI or machine learning or algorithms. And every model has limitations because there's so many trillions of factors in the world that haven't occurred, that can occur in future, and all sorts of black swan events and things can. And then over time there will be some event that will wipe out everything. And just like, you know, even bigger funds, when they're really successfy, they are the victims of their own success. And the same thing applies to algorithms as well.
Could you expand a bit there? Could you expand a bit about why a very big fund can be the victim of its own success, on why you think that?
Yes. So basically, it is something that even Warren Buffett found, that, you know, when you are very small, you can get much higher returns when you calculate in percentage. But when you get bigger, you can no longer get that return because everyone is now watching you, and the amount of sort of the buying power you have moves the whole market. So if Warren Buffett goes and buys, like, you know, 10 billion of Tesla or Apple or something, suddenly the whole market moves together, and it erodes the sort of the undervaluedness of any asset. It's no longer undervalued because everyone starts buying it. And also the fact itself that when they buy in such huge quantity that it moves the whole stock price, that it's no longer undervalued anymore. So
yeah, for sure.
So that's why any algorithm, it becomes too popular, or any big fund becomes too popular, it's very, very hard for them to get good returns. And that's what happened over the last 2-3 years as well. Like in 2019 and early 2020, ARK, Kathy Wood's fund was very, very successful. But then as it got more and more, yes, ARK Invest. So, but as it got bigger and bigger, then it would have such a large position in so many different companies that their holding would completely revalue the company, and so it was no longer, then those gains are no longer to be had, and that's why probably in the last few months it has been like underperforming nearly every single metric. So
I think, to be fair, every company has kind of tanked in the last few months.
Every company, yes, you are 100% right. Every especially, but then some have tanked more than others, and the growth related ones, which were oversubscribed, have tanked a lot more, and where there was a lot more of speculation and stuff, have tanked a lot more than the others. So yeah, some of the big names haven't tanked as much, like some of the old school names haven't tanked as much, like the Microsoft, the Apples and Google or Alphabet and all those, whereas some of the sort of
okay. So I'll tell you what, one thing, like if you manage to make some good predictions, then I'll be very interested in your company, because then maybe you could turn on the live market thing, you know, in your machine to become
yes
alive.
yes. No, we are actually very careful. We do say that this is for educational purpose, because we don't want someone to go and look at any prediction that our algorithm gives in future in the next month or two, and go and gamble all their life savings on it, and then comes to us that, hey, we learned this
Hold
from
you
you guys, and
responsible.
yeah, yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So
Okay, but
we are very careful about that. But yes, that has been an inquiry that has been made to us already, that if we can build this for some funds and stuff, and that they would like to connect or build a fund around it and stuff, and see and track its performance and stuff. So there is definitely a possibility in that space,
okay.
to do that, or trial it out and stuff.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay. So it's good to know about the company. I think one disclaimer we should make on this podcast is, by the way, everyone, is any
Yes.
views or opinions expressed are not the opinions of our employers. So
Yes.
just so you
Yes.
know,
And
I always
also
have to say this,
not
like,
financial advice.
not
Look, do your
financial
own
advice.
research. Don't go
You know,
and
I'm
yeah,
so
if you're talking about some stock, then don't go out and gamble all
exactly.
your life's
Yeah.
money or savings on
Exactly.
it.
I always do
Yes.
this every podcast. I forget to say it at the beginning, and I have to. And then at some point, someone says something. I'm like, no financial advice. I am not an advisor.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So it's good to hear about the company. But now, what about you? I mean, start at the beginning. Let's hear your story, from where you were born to up to now.
Absolutely. So I was born in Mumbai in India, and then I spent a lot of my life in Gujarat. Got introduced to computers when I was like 15, and in sort of 1995, and since then I've just been absolutely in love with computers and tech. I mean, back then things were really different. This was the age of, I started with MS-DOS, or probably even a few years before that, with MS-DOS and stuff, and then Windows 95 and everything, and learned the basic programming language and COBOL, and then C and C++ and Java, and I became a Sun certified Java programmer and all that. A bit like you, knowing from your sort of story. But over time, like when I came to New Zealand in my sort of really early 20, like when I was 21, I didn't continue with computers. I studied marketing because
Did you go on your own, or was it? Did you go on your own? By the way.
I did go on my own as an international student.
Cool.
So yeah, I just wanted to go somewhere different. I have lots of relatives in UK and North America and UAE and all that. So I wanted to go somewhere where I don't know anyone. I just create my own life path, own journey, all that stuff. So yeah, so I came to New Zealand. Didn't know anyone when I came here. But yeah, it's been a fabulous experience. New Zealand's very easy to live. I'm sure we'll talk about New Zealand and what's happening here and all that soon. But so I studied marketing when I came here. I went to university here in New Zealand as well, and then since then I've been working more on the growth side, growing businesses, learning how to sell, because my parents were artists, and one of the thing that art doesn't teach you is the art of selling, and I wanted to learn the art of selling. That it is quite important, and you do sales for throughout your life. Doesn't matter you're selling it to your kids that you should go to bed early, or selling it to an employee on why they should build something. So you sell all the time, all throughout your life. It's a life skill. So I wanted to learn that and stuff. So I did marketing, and then since then, my first company that I did work in, which I later on owned, was in the e-commerce space, and where my marketing skills were extremely useful. So this is in 2007. We built our own brand of supplements. We sold in New Zealand, Australia, US, and then that company, I grew it a bit. I sold it in 2015, and then I took like a year and a half of sabbatical. Selling the company getting that exit was quite challenging. So I was a bit burnt out. And after that, I joined an esports startup. I wanted to do something that's fun, and I enjoy and stuff. So joined an esports startup. With that, I was based in Silicon Valley for a very short time. And then that company got acquired. But with that, we already had some VC funding, and we had to, of course, return the money to the.
Could I ask? So when you say esports, I mean, because esports is so big now.
It is
what
so
exactly
big.
in
Yes.
esports?
So we developed software to run esport tournaments. So say you are a university, maybe you are a business, and or a pub, and you want to run FIFA football tournament for your patrons or for your employees or your students in university or somewhere. And then so you would use our tournament software, and you can form brackets, you can form leaderboards, you can connect it to your Steam ID or your like PlayStation ID or PlayStation or Xbox Live account and all that, and then it will take data from there and everything. It will connect to all the different APIs, different games and stuff. So so that's what we did. Also, it would allow people to create tournaments globally online and have that. Plus, we had like sort of a rewards platform, and people can come and do quests and things like that. So it was a proper platform, and an ad company in Australia bought it because they could apply some of these things to reward their clients and use some of the gamification features in live events and things like that. So that's what happened to that startup. After that, I joined an agency, which was a friend's agency, as sort of a general manager to help and grow that. And now we had a team of 10 people. So that's my sort of a day job. But apart from that, I run a podcast. It's called the Web3 with Sam Kamani podcast, where I talk about all sorts of Web3 stuff, everything from how to market NFTs to building cashless societies to all sorts of things. And I have all sorts of really interesting people on my podcast. And that was another thing I was going to say, that we should definitely share guests. I can definitely introduce you to some amazing people in this area. One of the guests I had recently, he has worked on over 200 different NFT collections that he has advised. One of that was, and some of them sold out in just like few minutes, and like with some big names as well, like the Sands Casino in Vegas, and I think the Meta Legends project that sold out in like few hours for about 20 million odd, I think 12,000 plus NFTs. So he's done like amazing work, really, really good at what he does. So I get to meet those sort of people all around the world, and they become like really good connections that I keep in contact with. So running a podcast is awesome. This is not the first podcast. Before this, I used to run another podcast that I ran for 2 years. It was where I used to interview VCs and angel investors and tech startup founders. But this one is dedicated purely for Web3. So I interview people in Metaverse, for building things in Metaverse. Sometimes I do solo episodes on talking about just any sort of a Web3 topic that's happening or that's going on.
Okay. So I guess, I mean, before the show started, you saw I had this list of questions of things I wanted to ask, and like when I have a list of questions, it normally means something which I don't know myself the answers to. So maybe I can just ask a few of them from there.
Sure, or anything. Feel free. If I can answer, I'll let you know. If I cannot, I'll connect you with a guest who has been and who specializes in that. So yes.
Okay, so when people talk about Web3, a lot of people, like when I first heard it, I was like, oh, there's this whole decentralized world, and I was expecting something really futuristic like Blade Runner and like robots circling the earth. I was like, what is this amazing thing? And then somebody said to me, no, you fool, it's just MetaMask. Yeah.
Let me go back. Let me go back. Right. So the term Web3 was coined by someone in the mid like 2005, somewhere around that time, and it was to do with semantic web, the web that makes sense. Because right now how the web moves is like you do a query and it goes from word to word. It does not understand the meaning behind it. It looks at the links and it tries to make sense of queries and links and just keywords. Whereas semantic web, the whole concept of was supposed to be was around Web3 was that that it makes sense. It really truly human in a how a human understands. It understands the meaning of what you want, what you say, and that would be made possible using AI and machine learning. Over time, the concept morphed, and somehow the last year where we have ended up is Web3 means decentralization, tokenization, NFTs, metaverse, blockchain, crypto, all that. For some reason, all this has been associated, and a part of the reason why that is Web 1 was considered just read and write, static websites, completely static website. You read and you write, pretty much that's was about it. And then Web 2 was read, write, and share. That was the advent of the social media like Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. All those came like 2004, 5 to 2010. All of these, or 2012, and it was their age. It was the age of Instagram. You read, write, and then you share as well. Web3 takes it one step further. Is that you own, as a Facebook user, you don't own Facebook. You have to own Facebook stock to own it, but as like the 2 billion users don't. Whereas Web3, where it differs, is that as a user, you are rewarded by the company often, just like ENS did, just like OpenSeas did, just like multiple other companies have done, is that they give you a token in their own asset and you own that token. So the idea is that the more, say, if I own Facebook token, if Facebook had a token and if I owned it, the more I use Facebook, that means the more the value of that token will be. And so I, as a consumer, will get wealthier and wealthier from the usage of the product. So that is where
Are
is
you talking
part of it.
about? Oh, sorry. Can I start? Are you talking about like with
Yes.
Facebook, because it supposedly doesn't cost anything to you to use, that you're the product actually that's being sold?
Yes. But even in Web3, like you don't you use the platforms for free. You can use the platforms for free, but you still own their token. So then now you have an added incentive to keep using that platform. And since you own the token, you have a say in what direction the platform moves, whether it wants to go towards free speech or it wants to go towards social responsibility or something like that, or whatever it might be.
Are
You
you talking
have the
about
right.
DAOs here and like voting and
Yes,
that?
yes,
It's like
DAOs and
decentralized companies, basic organizations.
yes,
Yeah.
decentralized organization. So there is a decentralized sort of a power structure as well. And somehow Web3 has started to be more and more associated with this. Um, Now there is no direct sort of I don't know. There is no clear cut answer where Web3 starts and where it finishes, because underlying, when you look at it, some of these decentralized things appear decentralized but have centralization in the back end. To a certain extent, everything is stored at AWS. Sometimes things are stored in on chain. So there is there is a lot of sort of gray area, just like we don't really know when things change from Web 1 to Web 2. We can't have a line in the sand moment. It just slowly adapted and it slowly grew. So same thing is going to happen here. Web 3 is going to slowly grow into this sort of a decentralized entity. And yeah, MetaMask is, if you use Ethereum or Binance or some of them, there are so many different wallets that you can use to connect to different websites. So if you use Solana, then you use Phantom Wallet. Phantom Wallet is I love Phantom Wallet. It's got much better UI than,
Not to be confused with Phantom Token, everyone.
Yes, not to be
Yeah.
confused. That Phantom token starts with F. This Phantom wallet is PH.
Yeah.
Just to confuse everyone.
Mm.
So yeah. So there's like so many. There's probably 50 different wallets out there, if not 100 more. And by tomorrow there'll be more. So
Is
it all,
Phantom Wallet for Solana, is that a Google Chrome extension like MetaMask?
yeah, you can have that as
Okay.
a
Okay.
Chrome extension. You can
Okay.
have a lot of these, you can have as a Chrome extension. So then you can just log into your site. Previously you used to be able to log in. Even now you can, so many places, using Facebook as login or Google as login, and all these are centralized companies. Now you could create as as a end user, you can create an account anywhere, never give your name anywhere, and then you can log into any of the blockchain based websites or Web3
Yeah,
websites, you can call them, and then you can use any of these sort of wallets,
I think that's what I
virtual
love with
wallets.
it. By the way, I think that's what I love.
Yes.
I mean, it's you just said such a good point. Is for me, I never understood all this Web3, like I said, and then someone said use MetaMask. So then I was like, I mean, I always used to hate going to signing up for new things and all of that, and
Yes.
typing in my details, checking my email to activate, I just wouldn't use sites. Now with MetaMask, I go to a site, it says connect wallet, press one button, and I'm in. It makes
Yes.
the whole web more usable for me. And
Yeah.
these sites don't even care who I am. They don't care what my name is.
Yes,
That's actually going to
exactly.
go up to
And
another
that's the thing.
question. Yeah.
And that's the thing I've seen with Web3 is people don't care where in the world you live. You could be in Philippines or Bangladesh or Venezuela or Iraq. It does not matter. It's like everyone is equal suddenly, you don't know who's behind that the NFT logo, because most people in this world use an NFT as their profile picture. So you don't know who is behind it. It could be a bot.
Oh,
As far
wow.
as we know, it could be a non-human identity. You just don't know, and you could be anywhere in the world. It no longer matters. Like previously, it was a massive advantage to be based in Silicon Valley a few years ago, because all the major tech companies are funded from Silicon Valley, or just in a very small part of even like Silicon Valley, or of the globe. Like 70% of US startups were funded there for like decades and decades. But now it no longer makes a difference in Web3, and people are a lot more open to hiring remote in any country, anywhere in the world. Everyone is getting paid in tokens, so there is no bank, nothing, no one stopping anyone, no. Yeah, pretty much it has really, really opened the whole world in so many ways that no one ever imagined.
Can I ask you now? I'm trying to slowly weave into the different questions that I had on that list.
Sure, go
And
ahead, go ahead.
so I kind of agree that Web3 and these wallets are democratizing how people can go and use the web, and it makes it easier to use. I see.
Yes.
One of the things though is, do you think that these wallets will end up being built into browsers? Because I know that the Brave has built it in, but do you think Google Chrome and other things are going to build in web wallets eventually?
Oh yeah, you will. The thing is, right now we don't have that many assets. Eventually you will have thousands of different types of tokens that will live in wallets, and then you would be able to easily move from one wallet to another. Even now you can move easily from one wallet to another. So it's just only a matter of time that Google and others will. Just that the early adopters of Web3 are very security conscious, and also they are very sort of conscious about centralization. The reason why they are adopting Web3 is because a lot of the times they want to move away from the likes of Facebook and Google and Apple and Microsoft and all these big giants. So that's why they are less likely to use something with Google logo. So it's like Facebook is going to have such a massive battle, uphill battle, to get people to use metaverse, because Facebook doesn't have that strong a brand. It's like, okay, so the metaverse, it's like anyone under 40, like who did Facebook branded meta for? It's like anyone under 40 does not use Facebook anymore. And
Yeah, but
anyone
they use
over,
Instagram and WhatsApp. Yeah, so.
yes, they do use that. Yeah, that is 100% true. I mean, a lot less Instagram these days. WhatsApp, yes, WhatsApp hasn't dropped, but Instagram is dropping drastically, the
Oh, is
usage
it?
of
Oh, okay. Wow,
Instagram.
I didn't know.
Yeah, last 2 years, 3 years since TikTok came, pretty much TikTok has completely
Okay.
stolen that market share.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's why they have to rebrand and everything. It's like under 40-year-olds don't use these platforms anymore, and over 40-year-old, it's like they have no idea what metaverse is, what is meta, so they don't. So who did they rebranded this for? It's like they are not. So it is going to be a uphill battle. So from what I know of the inside thing, like the rumor mill that, or I don't know how true this is, but Facebook has been paying people to just go and inhabit their metaverse. So there are some people there, it's not completely cobwebs. So people are getting $5 an hour, $6 an hour in
Is it been
Bangladesh, in
released already?
Philippines.
Is it out there already?
Yeah. So you can have the Oculus,
I've got Oculus,
the Oculus. Yeah, and then go to the Facebook's version of their metaverse, and so you can go and roam around and stuff. And they are paying people money to go and inhabit and just be like the customer service staff and just talk with people and stuff. So people don't think there are cobwebs there.
That's not a bad idea, though. Actually, I mean, just pay people to hang around and.
But you can only continue that for so long. You want people, you need, so that means there is no product market fit. You want people to come on their own, and that shows product market fit. So they are going to have a massive challenge, because the people who are active in this space, they are going there because of decentralization. They want to run away from companies like Facebook and Google.
Yeah, but that's the early adopters, isn't it? I mean,
yes.
Because I think Google,
the majority won't mind.
But if Google built, like, for example, MetaMask into Google Chrome, I think us early adopters would fight it, but then eventually.
Oh, eventually, mass will use it. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Just like most people, don't change their default search provider. So if you use Google, if you use Chrome, you use Google. If you use Bing, you use
DuckDuckGo.
Or something else. Like, you don't. If you use Bing, you use Microsoft Search. If you use IE, you use Bing. Because people don't change default stuff. I mean, majority don't change.
Even I don't change. I mean, I'm on the Mac and I don't change the defaults even. I mean,
so Google has to pay a couple of billion to Apple to have Safari, so that Safari has Chrome as
Okay.
So Safari has Google as default browser.
Is it okay if I go to a related question on that?
Sure.
So you kind of actually answered the question about would the web wallet get built into web browsers? And what about ID? Because for me, if I wanted to buy something on the internet, it would be good if I could. How do I say? It would be good if I could get my ID also. Like I didn't have to put my credit card details and my username and address and all that in, and give it to them. Can Web3 answer that as well? Because I put my wallets into some sites and then they still say you have to sign up sometimes.
So it's their decision. It's their decision to it's like as a so there are few things that there are laws. So now so let's take it one step further. And that is that if there is going to be a token exchange, then it now depends on the jurisdiction of where your company is based. So if you start a startup and then say, for example, if we created, like at Ensydr, if we created our own token, and the more you use the site, the more tokens you earn, and you become part of it, and you have some governance through the token and all those sort of things, then it will depend on where the company is based, and then we have to follow their jurisdiction. So sometimes some places they require you to have AML KYC, like know your customer. So then you have to get them to upload their passport and everything, because then they are holding this asset. And then again, US is getting more and more complicated. So if you are going to share your profits with your token holders, say if we create token for Ensydr, and then say, for example, we share the ad revenue that we are generating from Ensydr with all the token holders, then suddenly it starts to become more and more like a security. Then we have to conform to the security laws in US and stuff. So
that's complicated, isn't it? That must get complicated.
It is very, very complicated. Oh, wow. So that's why you want to make sure you know what you're doing, or have the right legal counsel to advise you to know what you are doing and stuff. So so it's like it will depend where you are based. There are some countries that are super crypto and blockchain and friendly because they want to be established as the name, as the place, and attract all the right talent, like Estonia and Dubai and Switzerland and Portugal and all sorts of places are coming up with really interesting ways to help people set up companies in this space. So it would sometimes depend on where they are based, just as small a thing as that. That's why you have to enter a lot more details on the details in it. And sometimes it is just the decision of that startup that they want still control. They still have the old habit of getting all the as much data as possible about their user.
Okay. So yeah, so you're saying, I'll try and say that back. So just because they use this decentralized system, because they're going to centralized websites, we can't stop that. Like, it can't stop them getting information and put it in their own ecosystem. Like, they can still say, give me your email
because it
address.
still depends on the architecture that they're using in the backend, because a lot of them are still using AWS and storing everything in traditional databases and stuff. So it really depends. You really need to look into their white paper. You really need to look into the team and see if they are really building a true Web3 company, or is it just the veneer of Web3, or they're just letting you connect a MetaMask on top of their old Web2 project.
Okay. Okay. Another question is, I listened to all your podcasts from before, and on one of them you said you think that Web3 will give a better UI. And could you expand on that? Like, what did you mean, and why do you think that?
Yeah, so because things are moving so fast in Web3, it has always felt like, few weeks in Web3 is like nearly a year that went by in Web2. Web3 is sucking up all the talent, all the technical talent, and also Web3 developers, whether you're a Solidity developer or Rust developer or anyone who understands the space, are getting paid so much because there's just so much hype and so much money coming into the space. And there is a lot of hype because of all the things happening with the NFTs and the amount of money that they're being sold for. That means there are people who are suddenly worth tens of millions of dollars from nothing within just few months, and they deploy this capital in building the solution. So sometimes they start with an NFT project, they make 10 million or 8 million, and then they decide to change it into something real, or they start with a token, or it could be just a shit coin and they start with, and then it turns into a real project when they and I know some of these people personally myself, and I've seen their journey, that they made a viral video and just made a token for fun, just to see, and it went. Oh, I mean, they even made a video. They didn't even expect it to go viral. They thought this is just for fun. They'll forget about it in 2 days. But in 2 days' time, it was worth $25 million. So, so then now suddenly,
that's a good surprise.
That's a good surprise because everyone bought it. It was a joke that everyone resonated with, and they bought it. And then suddenly, they had a massive community of people and thousands of buyers who are really invested in it. So they converted into a real project, and now they have real project and they're building real products and stuff. So but where are they all gonna get developers? There are only so many. So because of all these things, there's so much money flowing into this space that it's sucking up all the talent. And when so much talent goes in any space, it creates solutions, and it creates better products for people. And that's what has happened to internet. Even in the dot-com bubble, people were crying foul of the dot-com bubble, but it was sucking up all the talent. It's like, do you want to be a mechanical engineer and work in like 2001 for 60,000, or do you want 240,000 work in an office for half the amount of hours? So that's what happen. And now same thing is happening with Web3, just it is on steroids. This time it is even faster because the world is connected, and you no longer have to go physically to work in San Francisco anymore, or somewhere there, or in the Bay Area. You can work anywhere, and it's the whole world, not just the northern or the western hemisphere.
Can I
So
expand on that?
amazing products are getting built in this space. Yeah.
Can I expand on that? Because I know you're in Auckland, New Zealand. Is that correct?
Yes, that's right.
So how is the whole crypto and like how is it viewed there, and what's the market like? I mean, is it gone crazy there as well, or?
It is globally everywhere. There is a lot of hype. There is a lot of interest, but the pretty much nearly all governments lag behind in creating a regulation that makes it clear for people to engage, which way to go and stuff, because even the governments don't know. Even no one knows. It's like, how is the tax department going to deal with it, that, oh, I bought this for this much money, and then I got rug pulled here, but then I made this much money here by like shilling this coin or something. And then it's like there are no tax codes, there are no structures for this, and the whole space is moving at insane breakneck speeds. And just like what we were talking about, building better US, the thing is that a lot of the things can be built in a no code way, because it's just like, I know another friend of mine, his startup, he is building a way for people to use his no code platform and build a governance token for a decentralized autonomous organization. So you could pretty much create your company or your investment fund or anything into a DAO really, really easily within few minutes, pretty much. And those sort of things are happening, and there are solutions for nearly every aspect of it in a no code way. So the end user, for even people to build things, it's getting a lot easier and lot faster. And that's what I mean by better user interface or better user experience, because a lot of the users at this stage are founders themselves, or are tech startup founders themselves, using the other products in Web3.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite interesting, because for me, I mean, when I see like crypto and I show people the best products in crypto today, like people who used to using the web, they still say, wow, this is too complicated.
Yes. Oh, that is still there. But you know what is cutting through that, what is breaking the barrier through that? And that is the fun aspect of it. That it is, the whole crypto world is ruled by memes and jokes and inside humor and those sort of things, and that is sort of making the entry easy for Web3, whether it is sort of meme NFTs or any community you go in Discord or anywhere, or it's like they will have a dedicated memes channel, because and a lot of the metaverse is related to sort of gaming and esports and these sort of things. So so fun is at the center of it. Nothing is too serious. None of the NFT projects you see are people dressed in suits, or it's like Victorian style paintings or anything like that. It is all, a lot of it is like cartoonified, or
I'm like the non-fun part. I'm here, standing here, and with my old telephone and my. I'm like
no, you got the Baby Yoda. That thing sells, man. Probably Disney has an NFT for Baby Yoda. Yeah, Disney is big on that whole NFT bandwagon.
No, see, that's my only friend. You see, that's my only friend.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yes. Sorry. Continue. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's a fun space. You're saying.
It is
I agree
the fun,
with that. Yeah.
fun space. It is the fun space, and so the younger people. So most of the people who do get involved in Web3 are under sort of 45 age group, and so. And a lot of them are even in their teenage, and these people are going to grow and use these products, and that's always happens. It's like even in the .com era, it's like who used technology. It was the young people, and if you showed that technology to older people, they would have said that, oh, this is too complex. So that is just, and they are going to be Web3 native users, so they are going to grow up with this is the only world that they're going to understand in 10 years time, 15 years time. So
yeah, that's so true. Okay. Okay. Can I move on to another question?
Sure. Go ahead. Yes.
So I've got this is a very techie question. It's transaction trustworthiness. Yeah. So one of the issue, and this is just a personal issue I've had, is sometimes
go ahead.
I go to these Web3 sites, and I connect with the MetaMask, and I sign a transaction. I have no idea what the hell I'm signing. And for all I know, it could be stealing my entire wallet. How is this? Firstly, am I imagining this, or is this correct, or do I have
happens all the time? Happens all the time. So let me give you. This is a thing for anyone listening, anyone watching. Number one thing is that you should create another wallet somewhere. Maybe, so if you use MetaMask, then create a trust wallet or something somewhere else, and move all your funds into your personal wallet. Keep only the amount you need for transaction. So say if you're going to buy an NFT which is worth 0.1 Ether, which is $300, only have $350, have only a few dollars more than what you need. And that's about the number one rule. Anything that is you are connecting on Chrome with things, don't have lots of tokens there, don't have lots of money there. Keep very bare minimum, and if you want to make a transaction, move some from your other wallet which is on your computer, your hardware, or wherever it is. Move the money in just 5 minutes before it, and then do the transaction, and that's it. Don't leave money there, don't leave NFT sitting there. I have friends who have lost over $100,000. Just recently it got swiped. So the number one scam I'll share with you, because whenever any space is new, any country is found, it's like the Wild West. It is complete anarchy. Another word for decentralization.
Okay. Yeah.
So no, I'm just kidding. But so yeah, the number one scam that happens through Discord I have seen is that someone is part of a metaverse project or NFT project, and they need some help, that hey, this is not working, or I bought these things or these characters and the skins are not applying or something. I'm just making it up for an example. They need some support. So someone will see in the Discord that this person needs, so say you need support, and then say I'm the scammer. I see it, and what I do is I send you a direct message, and I have a link which looks very similar to the main company's project, and it is like a phishing link, and say, oh yeah, your problem will be solved, just go here and follow the steps and you should get your thing fixed. Because we had some issue on that page, so just go here and you should be able to fix it. When you go there, it will ask you for your MetaMask to be connected, and even ask you for your seed phrase or whatever it is, and when you do that, your wallet will be completely empty within a few minutes.
Actually, has happened to me. That's happened to me, but I haven't given my seed phrase. I've been done before, but this time I was like, don't get me a second time.
Yeah. So that is the most common thing. So even though the blockchain itself is secure, most of the things happen on the human side, because it's just the humans entering the seed phrase and giving their passwords willingly. So it's like you have a very good sort of a car security system and alarm, but if you hand the keys over to someone else, that system will only prevent you from getting back into it.
Good analogy. Okay. Yes. So basically you're saying you should have two wallets. You should have one wallet where you store your
Yes.
funds, and another one's for day to day. That's something I haven't done and I should do, and I'm going to do now. So
Yes.
thanks for
Yes.
that.
So this is for everyone, and always look at the links. So I'll tell you what happened with someone else I know. He searched for Decentraland or one of these, the mainstream, no, not mainstream, but a very popular metaverse project. I think it's Sandbox or Decentraland or one of that. He was searching for one of that to go back into and play around that he does. Um, he searched on Google, and the link of the scam appeared before the real project. I don't know how they got it, or maybe they paid the ads and had the ads there. And the link was very similar, so it was just a typo in there, which, if you're slightly dyslexic like me, I would easily miss it. If the Decentraland had an extra C or an E for an A or A for an E or something like that, I'd miss it. And you would end up on this scam site, which looks identical, and you would go and attach your MetaMask and you sign all these things, and it'd say, oh, it might need your seed phrase again because it's forgotten or something, and they'd ask you to give seed phrase, and that's how they'll clean. So always look at the link where you are going to as well.
But can I ask you about another one? Because I've got a Coinbase account now. Luckily, I don't really have really hardly any money in it. Just like a few dollars. But they've written to me, and they've said you have to upload all these personal documents to this website, and it's not a Coinbase. It's something send safely. No, Coinbase.sendsafely.com. So what I did was I thought, okay, that's not a Coinbase. It's not owned by Coinbase. So I thought, okay, if this is legitimate, then this will be I can access it from the Coinbase help. So I go to the Coinbase help, but I can't find a link to this page they've referred to me to say to send safely. But the link they send me, it's on Coinbase.com for Coinbase docs, but I can't get there from the main site. Is there someone internal in Coinbase who's running this scam? Because I email an address at Coinbase.com and they say, no, this is correct. And I say, well, why can't I access this from your documentation? And I'm like, is this a really amazing scam? Or are they
so you can always go to Send Safely and join, like Coinbase should have a Discord or something, and just ask them there as well and confirm there. But Send Safely is a legitimate company, so just check the spelling of Send Safely and that the domain name is correct.
It is legitimate. Is it known in the industry, would you say?
Yeah, I think so. I've seen Send Safely before as well.
Okay. All right, thanks.
And few companies use it. So it's just like Dropbox. So like an encrypted Dropbox. People use Dropbox or Google Drive, so they use this as a product. I know that some do, but you should always check that the URL is correct. So if you can go to that just sendsafely.com and make sure that it is, all the spelling is correct and it's not a scam. Yeah.
Okay.
But
thanks for that.
Yeah. But the reason is because AML KYC requirements. Often these companies, and especially if they are based in US, then they need a lot more AML KYC stuff, like know your customer stuff.
Yeah, I'm going to send them the docs. Okay. My final questions now. I don't know how much time you've got, but I'll
no, that's okay. I've got a little bit of time.
Okay, so so there's two projects I'm trying to advise people on. Someone's trying to sell music, and someone's trying to sell art as NFTs. Now, is there any way that if they sell their music and their art, these are different people, can they sell them and then get royalties if the art or the music is resold?
Resells. Yeah, absolutely. 100%. 100% you could do that.
And which are the best platforms?
That's what
for that,
the main thing. That's what the NFTs were used for. Because you can create ongoing commission structure, and then every time that is sold on a platform, on the same platform, then on the secondary market, then that artist will get even up to 50%, whatever they said. So say you sell your music first time for $100, and then that person sells it for 1,000, and you set the ongoing commission at 20%, so that artist should get $200 when it sells for 1,000, and then so on.
Which
So
websites can do this though?
Everyone. So OpenSea is a good one to start.
Okay.
OpenSea, that's the biggest one. And then the other one is for music, I would use something like fanfare.fm.
Fanfare.fm. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
OpenSea.io is the largest NFT marketplace, but they have a limit of 10% for ongoing commission. If you use one of the Solana's marketplace, like Digitalize or something, you could possibly have a lot higher secondary commission.
Okay.
Yeah. So Solsea is another one. SOLSEA. Solsea.io. But this is for art. Fanfare.fm is for music.
Okay. Thanks. Okay. I think you've answered all of my questions now. Now I wanted to ask you, what would you, could you give me an example of a really good project that you're excited by, and something in the Web3 space, and also an example of a bad project that shouldn't be here?
Oh, bad project. I don't know. There's so many. more like I'm tempted to say probably like 80% of these projects are gonna disappear, if not 90% are gonna disappear. So many, especially in the NFT space, 95% of them are going to lose value and they're gonna disappear. Good projects, there are good. It's still too early. It's still very, very early. The jury is out there. I do come across lots and lots of good projects. One of that is Statum. The other one is Salad. Salad dot what's it, IO, or
what are these projects doing?
So okay. Salad.com, SALAD. So they are basically building a decentralized way to it's a, like, AWS. So this is like the decentralized AWS.
Okay,
So
wow.
Decentralized platform as a service. So the gamers, PC gamers have a very high-end graphics card, and there are millions, tens of millions of PC gamers around the world. So what this does is that, just like Airbnb, you rent out the space you are not using to someone. This one, you rent out your graphics card to them, and they will use it for processing power as a decentralized processing around the world. And then they will give you, I don't know, gaming vouchers like Steam vouchers and gaming gear and stuff. Because they are gamers pretty much. If you have a gaming PC, it's a very high-end PC, $3,000, $4,000 PC. And then you can do this in the daytime. You game at night, and the daytime you're at work or you're not gaming, you can just share your computer and
you're
win
turning
rewards.
your computer into like a website, into a server, basically.
Pretty much, yeah. Pretty much,
cool.
yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So and you run it in a decentralized way.
Okay.
So this is just one of them. There's like thousands, tens of thousands of projects out there that are doing really, really well, and who are already making money. They don't need money. A lot of these, they are not going for funding. They're not, and they're gonna hire lots of people. I know the Tatum is probably gonna hire. They're based in Czechoslovakia. They're gonna hire at least 150 developers, 130 to 150 this year. Developers this year. Salad will hire 40 to 50 people this year.
Do they have tokens?
Developers. They don't. Maybe in future they will.
Okay, so this is something to keep an eye on. Okay.
Yeah,
So where was the
there's so
second one
many.
based, did you say? One was in Czechoslovakia, Czech Republic.
Yes, yes. So they were based in Salt Lake City, US. But yeah, but I have to check where, because these days companies do move based on the regulation. So yeah.
One second, I have a one second, I have to turn something off here.
Sure, no problem.
Okay. Okay, because if I keep getting notifications and people phoning, and I should have put it on silent.
Yes.
Okay. So Salad and Tatum. Okay, and okay, so also you showed me earlier a book. What was that book you made, by the way?
Oh, yes. So this is one of the book that I have written, and
One
that's
of the
the
books.
30-day. Yes, I've written two books: the 30-day startup and business in time of Corona, which is more of sort of my observation and dealing and on how to pivot. Pretty much the business book that I've written is on pivoting your startup and all that. So yeah, the 30-day startup is more like building products really fast. This was written like 3 years ago now. And so we wrote this book really fast as well, me and my co-author. We wrote it in 30 days because we wanted to be, we wanted to practice what we preach.
Yeah.
So yeah, every day just write 2,000 words, wake up and write while working full time. So it was interesting.
Amazing.
And the thing is that, it doesn't matter. It's like if you're building an MVP, it doesn't matter if it's got minor issues. You're trying to get your product out there as fast as possible. Same thing. We didn't worry about minor issues. You just go really fast.
Oh, so you're a big fan of lean startup type of.
Yes, absolutely. 100%. Yeah. And the speed was like what took 1 month in the Web2 era now takes like 2 days.
Yeah, it's crazy.
If that, it's crazy. It's just because you get so many no-code tools now, and 4-5 years ago it was still challenging to build things. It's so much easier now to build things really fast.
Okay. So maybe we'll close off soon, but do you have any questions or anything to add? Where can people find you? Anything you'd like to promote?
Yes, I'd love them to check out the Web3 with Sam Kamani podcast. So they can search for my name, Web3 with Sam Kamani, anywhere on any platform, whether it's Spotify or Apple or Google Podcast or any of these podcasts. And eventually I'll be sort of releasing these as NFT so people can buy that, and then people can monetize it, do whatever they want with it.
Podcast will be as an NFT, so you'll be selling them
eventually.
as NFTs.
Yes, eventually I will sell it as
cool.
NFTs. And just see what happens. If anyone buys it, it's great. If not, it's all good.
Nice.
Try the true sort of Web3 experience.
Yeah.
Eventually, I would love to create it as a DAO and then give listeners a part in it as well. And so the listeners would have say on who they want the next guest and then all that. But it is still the logistics of it I need to sort out. So maybe in 6 months' time, I'll look into that.
I think one of the issues with having some of these things is distributed, though, is when you make things everyone's responsibility, sometimes no one does anything, and I've seen sometimes when I have projects and I have like 5 or 6 people, and then suddenly nothing gets done.
100%. You said it. And that's why everything to do with Web3 is related to community, the strength of your community. And so you need to build a really strong community that's really involved in the day-to-day. And it's all about, so even the NFT projects that sell out, like, the 10,000 profile pic collection and all those sort of what they call them PFP collections and stuff, they all have really, really strong community. Everyone is active, everyone is collaborating, and same thing for DAOs. There's some really good DAOs.
Sorry, just to say, what should I use as a community for this podcast? What tool should I use? Discord or something?
Discord. That's where everyone lives, but then it is a lot of time and effort it takes to manage it. And then eventually the idea is that your community is so active that you can pick out moderators from your own community who will become the moderators and moderated. So you have less, the work is divided. So if anyone is using foul language or anyone is trying to scam other users and stuff, so they get kicked out by the moderators and stuff.
Oh, I see. Okay. I mean, I think for me, it's a bit of a way because I'm just starting out, but yeah,
Yes.
that's something I'll look at. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So anything else before we close up? I mean, I'll make sure I post your links in the show notes and
Oh, thank you. Yes. So no, I think that's about it. And yeah, it's I feel like there's just so much energy around Web3, and it's the right time to explore and play and experiment and see or get involved in a project or get involved in a community to see how things are done, how things are happening, how things are moving. So yeah.
Yeah, and thanks. I mean, it was so great to interview you because you knew your stuff so well, and I learned a lot today. So thank you very
Oh,
much,
thank
Sam.
you. No problem. Yeah, it
Okay.
was really nice talking with you.